Hey everyone, I am the only Resh and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about PlayStation a little bit. Now, originally the tone of this video was going to be a little bit different because a few days ago we got the pre-order details for Horizon Forbidden West, and we found out that to upgrade the PS4 version to the PS5 version, you would have to get at least the digital deluxe edition of the game, which was $80. And that, while frustrating as it is, wouldn't have been as bad if we didn't get a promise from PlayStation a year ago that Horizon Forbidden West would get a free upgrade. In that article that was posted a year ago, they specifically said Horizon Forbidden West would have a free upgrade from PS4 to PS5. And then a few days ago, as I just said, they switched that up and made you have to get the more expensive version of the game to get that upgrade. Obviously, a lot of people were very upset about this. I made a whole video that was going to go up today when this video goes up, but then the day after that info came up, after all the outrage people had, they rightfully reverted their decision back to their initial promise of that free upgrade. Now, I'm going to read the statement from the blog post for this, and it was from Jim Ryan, who's the president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, and he said, "It's abundantly clear that the offerings we confirmed in our pre-order kickoff missed the mark." And they reinforced their promise of the free upgrades from a year ago, like I just talked about, saying, "We will stand by our offer. Players who purchase Horizon Forbidden West on PlayStation 4 will be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for free." I was actually surprised they reverted back to that decision that quickly. I thought it was going to take a few days or a week or something like that for them to get it together and be like, all right, fine, we'll switch back. I didn't know it was going to be the next day, which is part of the reason I recorded that video for to post it 3 days later, and now had to scrap it because their decision switched. So one interesting thought that comes from this also is, won't PS5 players now be able to just buy the PS4 version and then use the free upgrade to get the PS5 version instead of just buying the more expensive PS5 version? It's kind of a weird thing with this, which is possibly part of the reason that they were hesitant to do this free upgrade, but I won't be able to test it out myself because when the pre-orders went up, I already pre-ordered the PS5 version anyway because I am impatient. So it is something that's curious though, that I'm wondering if that's the way it's going to work. But I still wanted to talk about this because this is why we as gamers and we as consumers need to step up and actually voice our frustrations about things like this when they happen, because we can get things to change for the better how they should be and hold these platforms, I guess, and companies accountable for their promises. Because, as I just mentioned multiple times, they had that specific promise for Horizon's free upgrade a year ago and then went back on that. And I'm not sure if that new direction they took was because of the COVID delay and them trying to make up additional development costs. That's the only thing that makes sense in my mind. But it's still pretty rough to go back on that specific promise that you made a year ago, because you could have just not said anything and had us not know what the deal was going to be until now. But they made that promise, went out of their way to make that promise a year ago, so they have to own up to that. And just for another example as to why we need to speak up about these things, if you don't remember something that happened with Xbox a few months ago, they announced that they were going to essentially double the price of Xbox Live Gold. And obviously, everybody blew up about that because that is a much bigger and much more broad issue than just Horizon's upgrade thing, because this is all of Xbox Live. And they were going to double the price of that, and people rightfully spoke out about it and blew up the internet. And I think less than a day after, I think probably closer to 12 hours afterwards, they reverted that decision. They're like, you know what? You're right. It's a bad decision. That's on us. We are not going to increase the price of Xbox Live. And the cool thing was, on top of that, they said they were going to finally make free to play games like Fortnite actually free to play, because before that time, you had to have an Xbox Live Gold membership to play free to play games, which meant they weren't really free to play. So we actually got more progress towards another pro consumer move from voicing our frustrations about that. So that's why we need to continue to do this, continue to voice our frustrations, hold companies and publishers and developers accountable, because we can make things better that way. And it's actually not the only info that came from that article relating to next gen upgrades. Jim Ryan's quote also says, "I also want to confirm today that moving forward, PlayStation first party exclusive cross gen titles, meaning newly releasing on PS4 and PS5, both digital and physical, will offer a $10 digital upgrade option from PS4 to PS5. This will apply to the next God of War and Gran Turismo 7 and any other exclusive cross gen PS4 and PS5 title. published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. That was a very long way to say this, but basically, since they're reverting back to the free upgrade promise with Horizon, because that's the game they specifically mentioned a free upgrade for a year ago, they're giving a blanket statement now as to moving forward, all first-party PlayStation games that are cross-gen will have a $10 upgrade across the board. That's the story for every single occasion, basically. And it's really good to get a blanket statement like that, so there's no more confusion, there's no more wondering what the upgrade plan is going to be, if it's going to be free, if we're going to have to buy some super edition of the game. It's just across the board PlayStation first party games, $10 upgrade from PS4 to PS5. Very good to hear, and I think this brings us to kind of a happy medium of where we should be at with next gen upgrades between free upgrades and needing to buy like a special edition of the game. This is kind of the happy in between of just a $10 upgrade, which is probably one of the most reasonable ways to do it and one of the ways that makes the most sense, because last gen titles are $60, a lot of next gen exclusive titles are $70, so it makes sense. I think it is actually warranted as well, because there are a lot of cross gen games that do have a lot of really cool next gen features that I think are worth the $10, so I'm okay with this, and I'm glad they have an actual statement so there's no confusion, as I said. And this also means we're getting closer to a time where cross gen games aren't an issue, at least for this current generation, because I would assume it's going to be about a year from now, maybe a year and a few months from now, is probably going to be, for the most part, the cutoff for cross-gen games, where we're going to start seeing the normal be just next-gen exclusives, and the previous generation is going to be kind of left behind, I'm assuming, after like a year and some change away from now. That's my guess. So I was happy to change my tone of this video, because my initial video about the mix-up before they reverted back to their initial promise was me just saying that they lied and being frustrated for the whole 9-minute video, and now I'm happy to be making this video instead, praising them for making the right decision and keeping to their promises, and also giving a blanket statement as to what they're going to do in the future so there's no confusion. That is very much appreciated by the gamers and consumers of PlayStation. It's really good to see going forward. Let me know in the comments if you agree with the new $10 upgrade system from PS4 to PS5 going forward, or if you have a different way that you would do it. Let's talk about it in the comments. And also, if you wanted to get more discussion videos like this, as well as my gameplay videos and new release info, be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me and my other content on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, basically anywhere at The Only Resh. That is my go-to handle. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, beat that boss, find that last collectible, roll those credits. I'm out.